During the Great Depression, states and private charities had no way to really make up for the lack of employment. There was no such thing as unemployment insurance at this time, and there certainly wasn't the social safety net that we have in 2015, 16, 17. In order to alleviate the suffering of the Great Depression, many individuals began to look to the federal government. We have this wonderful wealth of letters, the people writing to Franklin Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt after their election, asking for ways to help their husbands find a job or ways to help feed their families. One classic example of this search for the federal government's assistance is called the Bonus Army Marchers. This Bonus Army March was early on in the Depression, right towards the end of Herbert Hoover's term in office. The Bonus Army was a group of veterans that were promised a bonus at the end of the 1930s. They had fought in World War I, and as a thank you, the government had promised them a bonus during that time of great prosperity in the 1920s. Unfortunately, the Great Depression hit, and the Bonus Army Marchers, these veterans, said they couldn't wait until the end of the 30s in order to get that bonus. They needed it now. So they all went to Washington, D.C., and they set up a Hooverville outside of the D.C. Capitol, and they went to Congress and asked for their bonus early. They would even take a prorated version of it, a less amount of money. The Congress voted on it. They decided not to give the bonus to the marchers until the promised time. And they asked the veterans to disband, to leave, to go away, but they didn't have anywhere to go. Some did leave, but many stayed on in that Hooverville. Hoover wants to run as a candidate of law and order. He can't run on his economic record because of the Great Depression. He wants to get reelected. He needs to try to get those veterans away. He sends in the police don't work. Then he sends in General MacArthur in order to try to get them to leave. And eventually, one thing leads to another, that Hooverville is on fire. So now Hoover looks like the guy who's burning out veterans, and it really ruins any chance he had for a re-election, if there was any.